Anyway, I'm making a full illustration today, one of which I never do, mainly because it requires too much patience, of which I don't have to finish. So I don't actually have the drawing portion of this because I was playing around in Procreate, finding out new things that I didn't even know you could do. And I had turned off the time-lapse recording. I didn't know you could do that, but I forgot to actually turn it back on, and by the time I did notice it was off, I had already finished the drawing stage.
Bruh.
So, but anyway, it went a little something like this, though. The snake was surprisingly easy to draw though. I thought he'd be difficult to try to wrap him around his neck, but all I had to do was draw some loops like rope and hope my mistakes get lost in the confusion of it all. Anyway, the idea for this illustration came from me wanting to try to make a YouTube video faster than I usually take, so I decided to make a head drawing and went on Pinterest for inspiration on what I should draw. I knew I wanted to make a guy, and I think I saw a picture of a snake and thought, oh, let's add a snake. And then it just started to spiral from there. I kept adding on things to it like butterflies and flowers and let me add some more stuff, and it just kept going. But the only problem was, how was I supposed to draw that? And since this was supposed to be a fully done illustration and not want like a sketch when it's okay to be messy and low-key unfinished, it's needless to say I felt a bit pressured and underskilled to complete this after I finished the rough draft. I was like, why did I have to add all this stuff to it? Why couldn't it just have been a head? As you can see, I kept redoing the eyes because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to color them, because the eyes are like my most favorite part in any drawing or illustration to paint. There's just too many fun possibilities to make them. It's also like the main focus point people always look to when they first see a paint, so you naturally want to make it look great even if the rest of the drawing is trash. I'm so proud of myself for how I colored the ladybugs. They look so good and realistic. I added these blue parts to signify which part was the belly because it got so confusing with all the twists and wraparounds. And oh my goodness, I nearly cried and gave up at this part. Kids, don't ever skip fundamentals class. Ever. I'm not lying when I say I almost gave up on this illustration and wanted to just do a plain drawing because the skin and lighting was killing me. Always pick your light source so you know how the painting's going to go. Me, knowing that I should have done this from the start but decided I was good enough to just wing it, I didn't do this step and it caused me a lot of pain. Also, going back to fundamentals, I don't really understand how to render flesh, so that paired with the lighting situation was, it didn't really work out very well. Yeah, these were supposed to be Japanese cherry blossoms, but I'm not sure if that's what they came across as. They're a little too dark colored to be cherry blossoms, but they still look nice. I've never really taken the time to actually practice on rendering drawings in detail. Once I get to the ugly stage, I'm out. It's just too much work and patience required to make it to the end, which I do not have. Oh my goodness, a lot of this was just me trying to render the snake. I was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. This took like the most time to make in this piece. Honestly, I say at least an hour was wasted just of me staring straight at the screen like, bruh, how the heck am I gonna make this? I don't draw out animals enough to know animal anatomy or anything like that. Here's me trying to make it look porcelain by adding like patterns to it, which I later on scratched out though. I was originally trying to make a porcelain snake, but that didn't really work out. I never could paint lower lids. Every time I try, it just looks like they've gone a week without sleep. It kind of looks like me though, not gonna lie. What literally saved this illustration was Sensei Ross. His technique of using the curves tool and adding different textures to a piece was perfect. I was able to get a shiny gloss / silver look with the curves tool, and adding yellow underneath the scale texture made it turn to gold, which I was not honestly expecting at all. And it looks super cool. I was like, heck, I don't care if this looks completely different from the rest of the drawing, I'm keeping it. It's crazy how this went to this. Like, one thing with like art and illustration, you really have to trust the process, and when it looks like it's not gonna work, just keep going. You will have to put a couple more hours into it, but it definitely does work out in the end most of the time. It's just when you start it, and then at first it starts going good, and then when it gets to that ugly stage, it's like, bruh, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to do art. And some of that may be true, but if you stick out to the end, you definitely will think to yourself, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. So stick to the end, kids. Don't give up. Keep going. That's the only way you'll ever have finished illustrations and not just sketches all the time. Trust me, I know. In my sketchbooks, there's nothing but unfinished illustrations and drawings. Don't be like me.